Xbox has increased the price of Game Pass, and that might get them sued, but we'll talk about that bit later. First, the price increases. Xbox has increased the price of all the Game Passes by a decent bit. The Ultimate tier is now $20 instead of $15, and Game Pass Core is maintaining its $10 a month, but if you buy annually, it will now cost $75 instead of $60. And if you're looking at Game Pass as a value proposition of a bunch of games for cheap, it still is that. Realistically, if you're sub to Game Pass, this is still your best option for now, but realistically, these prices are not going to stop going up. The PC version of Game Pass is also $12 a month now instead of $10, and they also added a new tier called Game Pass Core. Editor me here. So yeah, I got Core and Standard confused. Some of you probably noticed. I'm sorry. And this tier is just annoying. It's $15 a month, and unlike Game Pass Core, which is just Xbox Live basically, this actually has Game Pass, but it's a sacrificial tier. It basically only exists to make Game Pass Ultimate look better, because you lose a bunch of perks from the Ultimate, like day one releases for games, which is kind of important, I feel like. So it's basically just a sacrificial tier to make the Ultimate bundle look better. And all of these price increases will go into effect starting September 12th, 2024. And as I said earlier, if you're on Game Pass, these prices are not bad. You probably don't really care that much. One game costs $70, but with Game Pass, you get access to hundreds of games for like $20 a month now, which is still pretty good. The problem is this price increase is just the first one. It's not gonna stay this low. The game industry loves to talk about how expensive games are to make now, and that's why they're filled with microtransactions. So in what world does charging a single user $20 a month to play hundreds of games make these studios more money? It doesn't. The price is gonna keep going up. There is no world where a Netflix subscription and a Game Pass subscription are gonna cost the same. I would be shocked if they stopped the price increases here. I expect Game Pass to get real expensive over time, because it's just unsustainable to charge $20 a month, especially since the company is in so much debt from buying Activision. And speaking of that lawsuit I talked about earlier. Remember how Microsoft buying Activision was like a big deal and the FTC didn't want to let it happen? So Xbox had to agree to a bunch of things to get the deal to go through. Well, a couple of those things have been broken. The first thing being broken was the layoffs. They said they weren't going to lay anybody off, and then they laid like everybody off. So I'm sure the FTC is already looking into that one, because that one looks especially bad. It makes them look bad. Like the FTC approved this deal, and then like a couple months later, they lay off everybody. And one of the big stipulations was don't lay anybody off. So yeah, I doubt the FTC is not looking into that. But one of the other agreements was to not raise the price of Game Pass. Xbox told the FTC that they wouldn't raise the price of Game Pass if they let them buy Activision, and they raised the price of Game Pass. That is what everyone should be complaining about. Xbox should not be able to lie to everybody and get away with it, because realistically, at this point, they probably shouldn't even own Activision, because a good chunk of the things they said they weren't going to do, they've done. If the FTC knew they were going to do that stuff, they probably would have said no. I seriously don't even care that the price went up. I really don't. I knew it was gonna happen. I predicted it was gonna happen, but I didn't know that they agreed to this. That's insane. And I'm shocked to see nobody talking about this part. Like, why is no one talking about the fact that they said they wouldn't raise the price in order to buy Activision, and then they raised the price? That's crazy. The thing I'm seeing the most is people comparing the price increase to PSN's price increase. There's like a console war right now happening because of this, which is insane to me. Like, they're both screwing you, man. You're paying to access the online multiplayer. Why are you arguing? Now, I will say, there are a lot more people mad at Xbox than PlayStation. That is true. But my counter to that is it's deserved. Sony fumbled real hard with the PS3, but ever since then, they have not let Microsoft win. And Microsoft, on the other hand, has been ruining their brand for a decade. So it really does make sense why people are hating on Xbox more. They're worse. Remember all your favorite games from your childhood? Now think about how Xbox ruined all of them. And then Sony, on the other hand, doesn't ruin their IPs like Xbox does. There's a lot of reasons to hate Xbox right now. And to be honest, I can't think of a reason to like Xbox right now. What have they done recently that people have thought is good? Because I actually cannot think of a single thing. All of my good memories with an Xbox are from the Xbox 360. The Xbox One was a joke, and the Series X is just a computer. And then PlayStation has just been releasing bangers. Like, Sony games are good. But going back to Game Pass, one of the reasons Ultimate is so expensive is because you get cloud gaming. And Xbox wants you to play anywhere, including a Fire Stick TV, which I don't think is gonna be used like at all. I also question if a Fire Stick TV can even stream a game. Like, yeah, game streaming's not super hardware intensive, but streaming is not the lightest task to run either, and the Fire Stick sucks. So good luck with that one, Xbox. But the reason I bring up the cloud gaming is because for some reason, Xbox is really betting on Game Pass and cloud gaming. It's almost like they don't even want to sell consoles anymore, which is probably true, because I'm pretty sure they just lose money on every console, and they're kind of getting bodied right now in terms of sales versus the PS5 and Nintendo Switch. But it's weird they're pushing Game Pass and cloud gaming so hard, because they just announced 3 new consoles. Like, it's all different Xbox variants. So it's a little bit of mixed messaging. And the people at Xbox also seem to think everyone can just do cloud gaming, and most people definitely can't? On the Xbox website, it says you're required to have 20 megabits per second to stream a game to your console, and about 10 megabits per second to stream a game on your phone. And I don't know where they got those numbers, but there is no shot you're doing either of those things with those speeds. There's no chance. If you actually had 20 megabits per second, there's just no chance you could play the game and have it look good and not have significant delay. There's no chance. 20 megabits per second is the type of internet speed that makes your 1080p YouTube video buffer. There's no chance you're playing Forza on that internet connection. It's just not happening. And then 10, yeah, forget it. Even if this thing said 50, I would still be skeptical, but at least then I could see it being true. But 20 megabits, you're gonna have the worst experience ever. Someone in your house will load up a video on their phone and you'll lag out of the game. I really don't know where they got these numbers. And my guess is a lot of people were not buying Ultimate because they didn't care to have the cloud gaming features at all, because the standard version doesn't have cloud gaming at all, which is a little annoying if you wanted that. But the actual annoying thing is first-party games will not be releasing day one on the standard Game Pass. So if you want Call of Duty day one, you basically have to buy cloud gaming. It's not like it's costing you any extra. You're still paying $20, but like, no one wants it. And realistically, the prices for Xbox Game Pass right now are fine. They're pretty fair for now, but I just think that this whole Xbox Game Pass experiment is going to end terribly. In my opinion, this is gonna really mess the gaming industry up, and it's already a mess, because Xbox Game Pass will never make as much money as just selling the game. It just won't. In theory, the biggest benefiter of this is Microsoft, but realistically, they're not gonna really benefit from this. Netflix, Hulu, Disney, all of these companies still are struggling to make money. Some of them are making money now. They're not total money pits, but anyone in the TV or movie industry will tell you that ultimately streaming services are bad for business. They lose money, especially actors. A lot of actors made their money off reruns because they got royalties every time the show aired, and those don't exist anymore. And the way Netflix divvies up profits makes no sense to me. Like, it's actually stupid. You would assume they base it off of what you watched, but it doesn't. I don't get it. But Game Pass really does not benefit anybody in the long term. Right now, it is beneficial for you if you have it, and also Microsoft. But eventually, this monthly subscription will make no sense, and at that point, it will slowly crumble, and they'll get more and more desperate as time goes on. And this whole FTC agreement to not raise prices has already aged like milk. But when they raise the price to $30, it is going to be crazy looking back at this quote, seeing that they said they could keep the price $10 forever. They said that. And also, it is ridiculous that the FTC let this slide. What do you mean the company that wants to make money is going to take losses forever? What do you mean? Why, as the Federal Trade Commission, would you take them at their word for it? That makes no sense. They literally pinky sweared to not raise the price, and the FTC said, yeah, that's good. When I saw Xbox launch Game Pass, I just assumed they were going to do what Netflix did, which was raise the price slowly over time. That's just what this model is, because it's actually just not sustainable. You can't give everybody everything for like $20 a month and still expect to make money. Every time someone buys Game Pass, Xbox is losing potentially hundreds of dollars in sales because they're not buying the games anymore. There was no chance the prices weren't ever going to increase. So it's insane to find this article after they raised the price. That's just crazy. But yeah, Game Pass got more expensive. It's really not that big of a deal, and it will get even more expensive. And I hope Microsoft gets sued again because this is ridiculous. I haven't even seen the entire list of things they weren't supposed to do once they bought Activision, but I wouldn't be surprised if they broke like everything on it. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. Like and subscribe. New follow me on Twitter @spatnz. Want to click the answer, check out more of my content, and have a good one.